I wanted to do a quick video here. If you've been watching my videos, you probably know that for the past month, right around a month, I've been going through my father-in-law's. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. It's pretty late. Stepfather's tool sets, his tool boxes, tool chests, stuff like that, and been, some of the tools I've been bringing here, cleaning up. Some of them I've been trying to clean all of them, not just some of them, and some I've been giving to friends, co-workers, family, stuff like that. Some I've kept for myself, and found 3 or 4 3 Craftsman ratchets, and a couple off-brand ratchets that I didn't recognize. One was too damaged to worry about restoring. The other one I gave to a friend. But right here I have a Craftsman, a VQ 44808 that I took apart. It was actually in fine shape, but I'm like a lot of people who like tools, I like seeing how things work. And last week I had mentioned I had taken apart a larger ratchet, and because it was bone dry. This one was almost bone dry, not as bad as the other one. There was a little bit of lube left on it. But what ended up happening was I lost the ball bearing. See that little ball bearing in there? I lost the spring too, but luckily I had one of those. But lay this down. I do not want this. That's a little tricky to reinstall, but I ordered a set of ball bearings. It's like a random assortment of 100 each, from 3/32 up to 1/4 inch. I'll never use all of these in 2 lifetimes, but for $10 it was well worth the money. I also got this tool here, which was $15 for a piece of curved sheet metal. But what it is the employees at Sears, when they had a lot of times when they got a ratchet for repair, they would use the repair kits, or I'm sorry, warranty issues. They would use the repair kits to rebuild the ratchets. I should put the vise. I have a couple of vise jaws here. They're not very good, but maybe I will use them. They were fairly inexpensive. Oops, what way? Sorry, I should have had this all prepared beforehand. But what they would do, they would use the repair kits, or I suppose they would send out the repair kits sometimes, and let the customer do it himself, herself. But what you do is that little ball bearing, as I said, it is pretty tricky to keep in the spring, because it stops in a little detent of the reversing gear. But you push this in from behind, hold the ball bearing down into the spring, and push in the gear, and then you pull it back out, and there you have it. It does work fairly well. It's not foolproof. But what I'm going to do here is lube this up real quick. I use these coffee stirrers for stuff like this. I try not to put it on my, even on wearing gloves, then you put it on your gloves and then everything you touch is lubed up on top of it. It doesn't need much. Very little, really. I like to put a little in here too. I haven't done this other than the one I did last week, I haven't done this in quite a long time. Then you get the ratcheting gear here. Once again, I'll put a little bit of lube on here. There is some here already. You don't need a whole lot. What I would recommend if you're doing this and if you've never done it before, but your ratchet needs to be lubed up. You can lube it up. You can lube it up without removing this reversing gear and the little ball bearing especially. That's the really tricky part. Now I will usually the best way to do this is center the rotating. There you go, and it flips right in. And this is the part that can sometimes really be a pain in the neck. Returning the retaining ring. I was having a bear of a time trying to get this on earlier, and here I was putting it on backwards, which now makes a lot of sense. But you really need these retaining ring pliers to do this. There's no other way to do it. You gotta watch, sometimes it will fling up and whack you in the face. But there you go, that's, make sure it ratchets. It's weird hearing it ratchet and you can barely hear anything. Go the other way. So there it is, a repaired ratchet. Well, I shouldn't say really repaired. It's the gear was fine already. It just needed some lubricant. Yeah, get all the grease off of the surface, because otherwise everything you touch will have grease all over it. But I also, a couple of things I thought maybe you'd find interesting. Now, I did bring home more tools that I will show in another video. I'm going to push this camera back just a touch. Take off these gloves. But here, speaking of my electrical toolboxes and whatnot, as I've mentioned before, I don't really do electrical work anymore. Not field work, I mean. But as it were, when I first started out, this was one of the things I used quite a bit. It's a voltage drop calculator. Now everything there's phone apps for everything. But what you would do here is, this is the aluminum conductor side and copper conductor side. So you would set your amp. And so you knew you were going to put this on a 20 amp circuit breaker for instance, and you were using a number 8 gauge aluminum. So you put your 20 over your 8, and right here it tells you how much. I'm sorry, forgive me. So you put your 20 amps over your gauge. You can see that right there. And right here it gives you how much voltage you will lose in your, depending on how long your wire run is. So this was a pretty handy tool to have, back in the day. I don't know, I'm not sure how old this is. It's pretty old, but still, it's funny we talked about the wipes I was using to clean up tool handles. I used it to clean this. And here's another one. This is a little grunge on it. This was another one I used very often. This was for your motor starters. So you would find, so you have a real common motor, like a 30 horse motor there. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this and see what I'm doing. At 480 volts. And then here it gives you your motor full load current, your trip rating, the time delay fuse recommended, the recommended safety switch from Cutler Hammer's part number, and the size of your heaters, your overloads. Now a lot of the new starters have the overloads are adjustable. So this calculator is really there's really not much need for it anymore. But it is handy for finding your full load amp still. But that brings me to this here. This is the electric calculator. This was technically, I got this in 2006, 2005 or 2006, but this was only technically updated up to the 2008 code. That's not really why I would use this calculator, but you can also use this calculator for finding full load amps, your overload sizes, all that. It's slower, believe it or not, slower than this, but it gives you more information if you need, if you're getting real deep into your overload protection. The max startup current, all that stuff. This will show you that, and it's a little bit more durable than one of these for your toolbox. It comes with a heavy duty case, which was nice because the case also works as a stand. But yeah, there were a couple interesting little things I found in one of my toolboxes that I thought were neat, little throwback, blast from the past type of thing. And otherwise, yeah, I found quite a few tools that I brought home. Among them, these insulated needle nose pliers. These were in pretty good shape. The handles were grungy, and once again, I used my garage hand wipes to clean them off. Another pair of needle nose. It's funny, we the Craftsman needle nose. It's funny, we Jack and I, we a lot of times we weren't related by blood, but we sort of thought alike. And one of the things both of us always said was, with needle nose pliers, you can never really have enough needle nose pliers. And I had, as an electrician, I kept one, and generally in my bag I'd have one pair of Dykes, one pair of Lymans, but I'd have 4 or 5 different needle nose. And it's just one of those tools. It's like you never see, like you need it. Sometimes you need a big one, sometimes you need little ones. Here's another pair. This is not even planned. This is another pair I kept in this little tool pouch here. This is a pair of Craftsman as well. I never knew they had yellow handles, but they might be rehandled for all I know. But yeah, needle nose pliers. It's just one of those things that he and I, we agreed. Yeah, the more the merrier. So just one of those little things. But yeah. Once again, the main gist of this video was putting a ratchet pad together. It can be a little frustrating, but it is worth the effort to keep it when they do need lubing. They work a lot better when you keep them lubed up. At my former job, I had a couple really large ratchets, and they took a beating, and we did take those apart. I don't want to say a lot, but maybe once every 6 months, once a year, and just like sort of, because there was a lot. The place was really dirty and dusty. So they would get all kinds of garbage and goo inside of their gears. These are sealed up pretty good, but stuff does find their way in. Another thing I found in this toolbox, a bunch of these old Starrett, tap drills, charts, and metric to decimal equivalent conversions, and I found there's about a dozen of these. I just brought a couple in this one. Here again, my little Ideal hand wipes. Clean that off pretty good. Found another pair of slip ring pliers. These are internal. But yeah, that's a lot of stuff. More these insulated lights, brand spanking new there. I put those in my couple insulated screwdrivers. If I can find them. There's some insulated screwdrivers, Klein. This one was virtually brand new. This one is a little chewed up, but still okay. And there's a couple more in my bag. I just don't want to go digging through it right now. But these are real. I always personally kept. I really only. I would keep one of these, and one of these I had a slightly smaller one that I unfortunately lost, but I still do have another one of these. But yeah, great to have in your electrician. You're going into a hot box. These are nice to have. Better safe than sorry. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and it's been a somewhat of a journey going through all these old tools. Brings back a lot of old memories and stuff. So yeah, it's maybe not so much. You know, and I don't want to say important, but there's a lot more sentimental value in this for me than it would be for somebody, watching this off of the internet. But maybe you're getting what I'm, picking up what I'm putting down, as they say. It's been like I said in the last video, I believe it's sort of like a bittersweet thing. Just seeing these old tools and remember some of them, when I saw them, I remembered them. Immediately remembered them from 25, 30 years ago or more. So and I'll keep going. I'm going to bring home the one of the larger tool chests, not the two really big ones. Those, as I said, there's two really big ones that I have nowhere to put them, and it's a shame. This one's in actually really nice shape. It's just, what am I going to do with it? You know what I mean? There's just not enough room in this garage for that type of cabinet. But there is a chest about double the size of the toolbox that you had seen me clean up and bang, get it somewhat restored, get the dents out of it and whatnot. There's one about a little bit more than double that size that does need a little bit of work. I'm hoping to bring that home in a few weeks and get working on that, and maybe I'll be able to post a few videos on that and let you guys see it, and hopefully I do a nice job. So I appreciate you watching. Thanks, and have a great night.